car to my right. It's indicated so I can go. Okay, so it's Road Safety Week in Queensland, and I thought I'd go for a ride and just talk through what I do just when I'm riding my bike. There's a bit of a perception, like if you look at any kind of commentary on social media about cyclists, there's always some that will just say, oh, cyclists just ride on the road, pay no attention to what's going on around them, completely oblivious and relying on everyone else for their safety. Now, I can't speak for every cyclist, obviously. I can only speak for myself, but it couldn't really be further from the truth. I mean, this is particularly the case on roads like this that don't have any cycling infrastructure, no bike lanes, so lots of parked cars. We're going past the school at the moment, so you're needing to share the road with other vehicles and other motorists, and so that involves being aware of what's around you. So I will try and talk through what I'm doing, and hopefully we can get some decent footage of what's going on around me, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, it's turning right here. There's a motorist coming behind me a fair way away. Now this road leads to a dead-end street, or is a dead-end street, so I shouldn't have any real worries from here. I'll look behind me every now and then just to see if anyone's coming, but taking a fairly central position in the lane. There's no reason to push yourself all the way over to the left. You actually become less visible if you do that. Speaking of visibility, yes, I'm wearing a black jumper. Shocking, I know. It's a little bit chillier today. Well, there's a bit of wind around, which makes it a bit chilly. It's actually about 20 degrees. I'm probably being a wuss. It's chilly for a Queenslander. So I'm going to have to turn left here. Then look up, there's no one coming. And I'm going to turn left here as well. I can see that motorist coming off in the distance, but they're far enough away that I can emerge. And they've got plenty of time to spot me and work their way around. There's no bike lane on this road. This is just road shoulder. You can see there's traffic island in the middle, and there was room for me to stay left and the driver could still go through, but oftentimes you have to squeeze up. Alright, I'm going to exit and go along the cycleway here. I'm going to do the right thing, stop and press the button. Not much of a wait time, so there's no real value in pushing it. Alright, so I'm looking to my left, it's clear to cross. Now I'm on this cycleway, so I guess it'll be pretty boring from here for the next 5 or 10 minutes, because once you are on a bikeway like this, you don't have much to think about. So I've got separated two-way bike lane here, pedestrian path to my left, which doesn't continue on towards the shops, it goes up over the bridge. And then it's just cyclists only between here and the shopping centre. Well, the roundabout before the shopping centre. So I'm reaching the crossing point on the bikeway across the road. And this one's quite awkward. It's a 2-lane each way road. The left lane goes onto the motorway, so people come down quite quick. There's quite a bit of space, so I had some time. This one's awkward too because you've got people who are coming off the motorway, turning left onto the roundabout, and people coming around the roundabout that are going up this way or heading further around onto the motorway. So no one's ever going to stop for you. So you've got to be watching and pick your moment when you can get going. I changed myself down to a reasonable gear so I can go fairly quickly. I think I'll get through before this grey car. There we go. All right. Really don't enjoy that kind of scenario where you don't have a priority crossing, so you've got to judge the safest time to go. You sort of almost got to wait to find a driver that's going a little bit slow off the mark, because so many of them just really, they go quick, straight after the car in front. Actually, that's one of the areas of this bikeway that I really want to see improved. The government's going to be spending a lot of money upgrading this motorway over the coming decade. You've got to improve the cycleway in that. And no one's coming. That's one way, but I still have to look to the right because some people go the wrong way. There we go, we're at the bike rack. Awesome. So I'll do my shopping and then I'll pick it up on the return journey. All right, I've loaded up my groceries. Got some stuff for book week day tomorrow, whatever the son's planning for that. Now, make my way home. Took a lot longer at the shops than I thought. So I'll be heading home. I'll be getting home near enough to school pickup, so a few added challenges. There's someone behind me, I believe. I'm going to get onto the bikeway, but I've got to swing onto this ramp. Signal them so that they know I'm doing it. This bikeway hasn't got the greatest visibility to the right, so actually have to stop and look. I'm not the most, what's the word? Acrobatic, agile, skillful. Anyway, I need to stop more often probably than a lot of cyclists, but it's okay. It's my way of keeping safe and making sure that I'm seeing what I need to see. So my bike's loaded up a bit, it's a bit heavy. Bottle of milk, bottle of juice. Got some pork mince, gonna make some Thai noodle dish tonight. Probably, 5 or so kilos of groceries in my bag. And it's a little bit weighted to one side, so changes my bike's handling a little bit. So I just have to be aware of that. So coming back up to that roundabout crossing, so just looking over my shoulder to see if I've got reasonable visibility to know I can make it. Yeah, I can get halfway across. Now obviously wait for traffic this way. Now sometimes here people will wait for you in this closest lane, but people in the other lane aren't. So you sort of have to actually tell them, no thank you. I don't want to cross right now. I'll cross when I feel it's safe. So it's them trying to be courteous, but sometimes I don't realise that they're actually, it's not the safest time for you to cross. So anywho, hello Crow. Yeah, so it's, I don't know, 2:40 in the afternoon. So it'll be just before 3 when I go past the school, so that'll be interesting. Oh, looks like there was a crash on the other side there. Nasty. Now, while that crash doesn't directly affect me, what I'm now thinking is that, well, there's going to be quite a lot of traffic congestion heading back over towards the city. And so that there may well be people that are frustrated in that traffic, and they're going to be coming along the roads that I'm going to be riding on. So yes, you can see on the motorway outbound is moving extremely slowly because of that crash. Looked like only one lane was affected, but you know, that still requires people to merge. And then of course you've got the rubbernecking. So there we go. We're on a bikeway, but people are walking on it. That's cool. You can probably see off in the distance there that the traffic's stopped all the way up the hill. So I wouldn't want to be in that either. So I've got to get on the road here. Like, normally I'd continue on and cross at the bridge up ahead, but the bridge got destroyed in the floods. And it's going to be a year or 18 months before it's finished or repaired, rebuilt as it's going to be. Maybe after this blue ute. Yeah, I'll go after this blue ute. Oh, yeah, I went a bit early, trying to get going before the next car comes. So I've got a parked car ahead, looking back. They're holding back. I'll move over a little bit. Now they want to go ahead. You go. All right, now I'm going to turn right up ahead, so signal. All right. Looking for this red car to turn. Now I go. And that's the other thing, because there's that blockage ahead, there's people taking that road to rat run to avoid the traffic, which then makes other roads busier and less safe. Don't do that. I know you think you're being clever and saving time, but you're just making traffic worse for everyone elsewhere. Okay, so I'm on the Jindalee Creek bikeway now. Pretty chilled here. Nice quiet shared path. There's a lady with a pram ahead and a dog off the lead. No problem, just slow down. You're ready to stop in case that dog gets spooked by the bike. I mean, obviously it's not legal to like have your dog off a lead, but you know, most of the time you can manage it. But if you're on a bikeway or walking your dog on a bikeway, shared use path like this, think again, like don't leave your dog off the leash. Apart from anything else, I don't want to hurt your dog. Okay, so now coming up towards where the state school is. So there'll be people parking, hopping out of their cars, leaving the engine running, spewing out emissions and toxic gases for their kids to walk through later. Awesome. So I'm going to turn left into this road. Still 10 to 3, so kids aren't out yet. So it shouldn't be too crazy. This is a school bus van, minivan. Now I'm staying in this position in the lane because if I go off into the shoulder, I get stuck in behind those parked cars and have to try and move back out. So it's actually not a safe position to be. Alright, so there's no one behind me, so I'm not going to bother moving left. Still no one behind me. Hold this position now. I'm going to be turning left and then down the bottom of the hill turn right. So I'm going to maintain primary position on this road. There's no one coming behind me. That makes it easier. I'll start to indicate at the crossing. And turn right here. And again, because there's parked cars, maintain a position in the general traffic lane. And now, move off. All right, so day 2 of my little, this is how I ride demonstration. So I'm off to a bike shop in Milton because I need to get brake pads for this bike. It has hydraulic rim brakes, which is a bit different, a bit unusual. So, can't just get the brake pads from any old bike shop, so found one in Brisbane that does have it. And I'm off to pick them up. So this road can be quite busy. It had its speed limit reduced a few years ago from 60 to 50. And there's a lot of parked cars, goes past the high school. It's a bit sort of up and down hilly. So, you know, you do end up with a few, I'm not impatient, but I think sometimes you can feel like you got a car up your backside, but pretty empty at the moment. So I'm going to have to turn left here. There's no one behind me. Now around the corner here, there's a trailer that's always parked over the road shoulder. Now there's no bike lane along here. There's sort of parked cars and a caravan. And this is a 60k/h road, so sort of, and there's a big pile of glass down there. When there's a lot of parked cars along the side, I prefer to stay in more of a primary position in that lane. When there's fewer, I sort of feel more uncomfortable about that because sometimes people get the feeling like you should be moving over out of their way. And if I can, I will do that. But if I've got to be zigging in and out from parked cars, then that's more dangerous. So I prefer to keep a consistent line. So I mean, from my perspective, when I'm driving, I find it easier for a cyclist or any road user is keeping a consistent line. It makes it easier for me to judge what I need to do. I've now got to cross Dean Street. Now visibility is not great that way, but I can see there's a car there, but I've got enough time. And I can see that they're at a red light, so they're not turning across my path. I can turn in here. Now this is the bus depot, but this is a cycle through route as well. You can see that there's a green painted bike lane contraflow in the other direction. Alright, so I generally prefer to use this path if I can, because then I've got good visibility up to my right. They've signalled me, thank you. And then someone to my left, people come off that roundabout quite quick. So you kind of need to make a judgment call quite quickly, or just stop and get your bearings and wait. Alright, so now I need to cross from this shared path to the other side of Sylvan Road. Now I can see that this car is coming, but I can roll to the middle. I can see over my left that there's nothing coming, so I can go proceed onto the bike lane. Now this bike lane, well, is it a bike lane if people can park cars in it? Age-old question, but because there's parked cars, I position myself very far right in the bike lane. Now, some would argue I should actually be in the traffic lane completely, and that would be a more, I suppose, dominant position. I mean, looking behind me, there's no one coming, so it wouldn't have really mattered either way, but around the corner especially, keep it wide because you want to discourage people from trying to overtake you on a corner. Okay, and the bike lane here actually gets narrower than minimum standard, so, you know, bike infrastructure, Brisbane style. Now, there's not many cyclists out today, but like right now, but at commuting times, there's up to 3,000 cyclists use this every day. So it can be very busy, and in fact, it's not uncommon to have more bikes waiting at these settled traffic lights than cars. I'm still sort of having a look at who's coming alongside me. There's a bus behind. So all those little things sort of give you clues as to where you should position yourself on the road. So again, the bike lane's fairly clear here and it's not too narrow, but up ahead there's parked cars, there's cars turning left into the car park, and there's a truck currently parked in the bike lane where they're not supposed to be, so no standing zone. Everyone's stopping. Are they trying to let anyone in? No, good. I'm not entirely sure what that person's doing. Guess they're, yeah, it's turning to that property. So now I have to head out into the lane because this guy's parked where he shouldn't be. It's sort of fortunate that that motorist was turning into that building so that they held everyone up for me. I didn't plan that. Now on the slip lane, I actually don't use the bike lane because again, the corner is a bit too sharp. If you drift a bit and someone's trying to overtake you and they cut the corner, not fun. Especially when they're a bus. Now, I'm pretty sure that bus was within a metre of me. Bump, bump. So, you know, it's not necessary. Usually just give a couple of rings in case anyone's coming either way. Still slow and have a look. No one's there. Proceed on. Now this is a quality bikeway. Like, you've got the 3.5 metre wide cycle side, 2 metre wide pedestrian side, plenty of room for everyone. But there are still some things you've got to be looking out for. So, the thing about driving is that most of the time, cars can go at the same speed. There's not really an ability differential on a residential road. On a bikeway, there can be quite a big difference with how fast cyclists travel. I'm not fast. You know, on a bikeway like this, I might go 24, 25k an hour. I'm not there to bust a gut. Some will be much slower. They'll be, 15, 16k's an hour. And then you'll have your fitter cyclists. They're out there for training. They're out there for fitness or preparing for races or events. Or even they're just fast commuters, and they can go, well, very fast. 30k an hour wouldn't be hard for them. 35, 40, something like that. So being aware of what's coming is important. Personally, I would hope that the faster you are, the more you're looking out for the people who are slower. Because it's really not up to them to get out of your way. You should be, on a cycleway, it really should be you go as fast as your slowest person, or at least until you overtake. So this guy up ahead, he's a bit slower than me. I can look, no one's coming behind me. Plenty of room, go around, no trouble. Now, someone was coming the other way. I just sit behind him for a bit. No big deal. Because people argue, well, motorists have to wait. But yeah, usually at an intersection like this, you'll wait once. One light to make your turn or proceed straight through, whatever it is. Because I'm turning right, I'm gonna have to wait here, and I'm gonna have to wait on the other side. And so the problem with making people wait that long is you encourage law breaking. Here we go. Press again and wait. There's an example. Some people don't want to wait. Now, if I did that, and these motorists saw me do that, you can bet they'd be on social media in 15 minutes going, oh, bloody cyclist, saw them cross on a red. Do you reckon they're doing it about those pedestrians? Don't think so. Yeah, they're turning, I'm just watching them. And again, we have a lot of parked and turning cars. Did you know Brisbane had an Eiffel Tower? So the car door opening up there, and that's one of the things you've got to look for. Okay, here we go. Watching them. I'm going to nudge out around the parked cars. Because I don't want to be where cars can just open their door. And that guy was turning, or turning in. Alright, so up ahead, I want to go straight, so I'm going to get around these parked cars Now, there's a good chance I'm going to end up stuck because they're turning left. So if there's pedestrians crossing, I'm going to probably have to wait. But I feel better being in the left lane rather than being in the right lane and then potentially having to merge across left. Let's see, are they going? Yes, they're all going. So I'm proceeding straight. I'm watching this car in the right lane. I'm going to take a positive position on the road here because there is no way anyone can pass me, and they have a second lane they can use. And of course, here's what you've got to look for. Someone here wants to turn into the driveway. So of course they've got to get ahead of me. All right, they're wanting to turn. Okay. So now, I want to turn right at these lights up ahead. So I'm going to stay in this lane, indicate that that's my intention. You can see the bike shop just straight ahead I'm trying to get to. Now, some people might choose to filter through to the front of the queue in this situation where they feel like they're more visible, which can make you feel safer. For me, I'm not certain on the light phasing here, so I prefer to stay back. So what I wouldn't want to do is be at the front and then there's a green straight through and a red turn and people trying to go straight. Not that that matters here, it's only a left turn. Anyway, so I'll turn off here and then signal here because I'm getting off. Whew. Got my brake pads. Now make the trip home. Now looking at the way the road's laid out, I think what will happen is I'll get a green walk when these two cars over here get a green light to go straight. So I can see that there's one car wanting to go straight in the left lane. So my plan is I'll let it go and then I'll fall in behind it and then work out how I'm going to manage the parked cars up ahead. All right. That car goes. I'll have a look. Move out onto the road. I'm still looking back. Is that car going to get through in time? Yep. All right. And it's a little bit uneasy. So I think I'm a bit nervous of that door zone, so I'll actually take the lane a bit. So, what do I mean by the door zone? Well, if you ride a bike at all, you'll know what it is, but essentially, someone's behind me, I'm going straight. So the door zone is that awkward distance between the car door and you. So if cars are parked in a lane, then you try to go around them, and a door opens, it can end badly. So up here, I am going to move into the right-hand lane. Now, and I'm going slow, and I know there's someone behind me, but I'm not getting close to those parked cars. And they have pulled in anyway. And I'm going to stay in this lane because up ahead I want to turn right. This will probably make the driver behind me a bit cranky. In fact, I wanted to go down there. That's okay, I've missed my turn. But instead of doing something silly, I'll just hop off here. And plan B. All right, so back through the tunnel, and we're going to go on Sylvan Road again. So we're going to come across Land Street here. And I'm looking off to my right, let that car go over my shoulder. It's a green light, but I can get across to the bike lane before they get through. So the light up ahead's turning red. So there's a bike lane along here at the traffic lights. But there's also a slip lane which goes across the bike lane. So the rules say that motorists have to give way to anyone in the bike lane. It doesn't always happen. So if someone suddenly gets ahead of me, I anticipate they might turn left. Oh, look at that. Lights perfectly timed for cyclists. Beautiful. Now I'm sure that footage is extremely shaky because this road is very rough. Okay, so they're turning out of here. They've looked in my direction. And it's red car, is the driver going? All good. No one's coming to turn across me. Okay, traffic control has stopped everyone. That includes me. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want that falling on my head. Nah, definitely not. See you, mate. Cheers. My helmet's a little bit loose. That's not ideal. All right, so because there was a traffic hold up, Mr. Ute there was very frustrated. Okay, so this is a tricky situation. So the bike lane goes straight. Traffic can also turn left. The road rules say not to undertake on the left motorists that are indicating left and turning, but they won't. Now I'm in front. They must give way to me. Sweet. So the key there is that indicating left and turning. So they're stationary, they're not turning. So that rule doesn't apply, I can still roll forward to the front. If the light had already been green, it would have made the situation a bit more tricky. All right, light's about to change. Try and get moving as quickly as I can so that the car behind can turn with minimal delay. Second car was going straight, so I'm anticipating they're coming up behind me. Okay, more cars coming behind me and there's parked cars, so trying to give them the signal that I need to move out. It's by looking back and edging out a bit. Still someone behind me. I'm just moving out a bit while I go around this one white parked car. Okay, now this one's particularly awkward because they're not even supposed to stop there. Okay, he's hanging back now. Okay, still behind me. Looks like he's pulling over. Now I'm going to exit here. And I'm back on this bikeway, or this shared path. It's a funny thing about Brisbane, we call shared paths bikeways. And I think it's just because it was the easiest thing to do to say that they're delivering cycling infrastructure. Just whack down a shared use path. Boom, job done. Never mind the fact that it actually doesn't necessarily work the best for pedestrians or cyclists, particularly not when they're busy. But this one is mostly used by cyclists. So, yeah, bus is waiting, there's a car coming, I'll just duck across. Now this is the contraflow bike lane. So I say contraflow because it's one way for buses, so they just go that way. But cyclists only can proceed this way. Don't know why we don't do more of that on one-way streets as well. Makes the streets much more filterable. Right, so now that bus is going that way. I'm at this corner. I prefer to actually go on the road rather than that crazy tight loop on the path. It's a personal preference. I just find that blind corner around the path really awkward, whereas on the road you've got better visibility of cyclists coming in the other direction and motorists on the road. So all right, now we're safely on the bikeway again. Not much to think about now. I can just daydream, thinking about where I'll ride tomorrow. All right, back onto this lovely wide shared path. This is brand new. This is a 5 metre wide shared path. How good is that? Now up ahead, a couple people walking. We just had one bike going there stopping, having a look. So it can be tempting when you see people just stop on the path to go straight for the bell and ding ding ding, but sometimes it's easy just to ease off a little bit, have a look, see what they're doing, because in that scenario, they usually turn around anyway, or they have a look, or they hear you. So it's just like we don't want cars jumping on their horn. Don't need to jump on the bell all the time. Cool. So I mentioned that normally I'd go down. There's a bridge that goes off that way, but it got destroyed in the floods, or really badly damaged. It's not usable, so they're rebuilding it. So these blokes are doing some surveys as part of that design process. And so you've got to be aware of people that are on the path doing work. And, you know, they're doing it for our benefit, so be cool, be kind. I really do hate the noise of motorways. Like, just revolting. Anyway. I'll be good. There's no one coming. So I would understand completely if people would walk in or cross in that position anyway. Well, that about covers my little insight into what I think about when I'm riding.
I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, feel free to give the video a like and think about subscribing. Anyway, ride safely, drive rarely, and I'll catch you next time.
But if they do come around and they